A boy jumped into fresh cement to win a bet with his friends, but the cement mixer broke down and poured a huge amount of cement covering him up to his chest. The construction workers tried to help him, but the cement started to harden quickly, making it impossible for him to move his arms and legs. The firefighters worked for hours and used saws and hammers to free him. After 5 hours, they managed to cut through the block and rushed him to the hospital. While the boy was being treated, they discovered that he had burns on his skin caused by the chemicals in the cement. The doctors applied bandages with ointment, used small tools, and took their time to remove the remaining pieces. In the end, the boy survived and made better friends.
This is what happens when you go to prison in other countries. In Russia, the first thing they do is take your clothes and wash you to prevent any bacteria from entering the prison. Once you're clean, they give you a new set of clothes, and you're forced to do a quarantine for 15 days. But in Japan, prisoners are converted into slaves and are forced to work. Their day starts at 6 o'clock in the morning and ends at 9 o'clock at night. This schedule includes 9 hours of work, 3 meals, and 3 hours of free time. But that's nothing like prisons in Norway, where they have access to a private bathroom, a plasma TV, and a window with beautiful views. Also, the guards allow you to wear your own clothes and receive 3 weekly visits from friends and family. A dog sat on top of a fully loaded shotgun in the back seat of a van and accidentally pulled the trigger. The bullet went through the driver's seat and pierced the man's back, breaking several ribs and puncturing a hole in his lung. He managed to call an ambulance and was taken to the hospital, where he recovered. The dog was sent to a shelter but ended up returning to its owner. But tragically, the dog was killed a few weeks later in a mysterious accident.
The parents of your poor friend invite you to dinner at their house. Do this so you don't look ridiculous. Put on basic clothes, put away your fancy items, and hide your iPhone so it doesn't get robbed before you arrive. If the house is in bad shape, don't say anything. It is very likely they don't have money to repair it. One more thing, don't make any complaints about the food. You have to eat all of it, even if you don't like it. Make an effort to be part of the conversations, but don't try to make jokes about money or mention the new sports car that your dad bought last week. If they make noise while eating, just let it go. But above all else, don't dare to ask why there is no dessert, because it might hurt their feelings. Finally, when you're all done with your food, help by cleaning the table to wash the dishes and subscribe to BigDanBaby.
If you see your friend with a very old woman, don't ask him if it's his mother or grandma. It could be his new rich girlfriend because your friend doesn't want to work. If you're in another country, never make signals with your hand. They might mean something very dangerous and you'll get thrown in jail. If you order a drink at a fast food restaurant, never order it with ice. It'll take up most of the cup and you'll pay more money for less soda. If you move house and notice that your son has a new imaginary friend, get out of there fast. It could be a spirit that lives in the house.
A venomous snake bit a man in the eye while he was taking a walk through the jungle. He hit his head as he reacted to the sharp pain, making his situation even worse. The venom causes bleeding and swelling in the affected area, and once it enters the bloodstream, it can make limbs die off quickly. They took him to the hospital with the snake still attached to his face, and even though the bite was directly in his eye, the snake's fangs didn't damage his optic nerve. He went through surgery to clean the wound, and a few weeks later, the man fully recovered with no lasting effects except a visible scar on his eye.
Never make these mistakes when traveling to other countries. If you ever travel to Taiwan, never pick up a red envelope from the ground. If you open it, you'll be forced to marry a ghost bride, because in Taiwan, when a daughter dies, her parents prepare a red envelope filled with money on the street. If a man picks it up, he automatically becomes the husband of their dead daughter's ghost. If he refuses, he'll be haunted in his nightmares by a crying woman for the rest of his life. But in Japan, don't even think about walking while you eat or drink, because everyone will think you're rude. That's why the streets are always clean without trash. Lastly, in Chile, it's illegal to eat anything with your hands. Even if you eat a sandwich with your hands, everyone will look and insult you. 3 scams you need to avoid if you travel to another country. In Paris, France, never accept a free bracelet. Once you have it on your wrist, the scammer will tighten the bracelet very tightly and demand a lot of money for it. But if you're in Thailand, never accept to play a game of Connect 4. An innocent-looking child will ask you to play Connect 4 for money. Even if it seems easy, these kids are professional Connect 4 masters and will beat you badly. But the taxi scam exists all over the world. A taxi meter usually measures the distance traveled and the time spent to calculate a price. But there's a button to charge more money during nights or on weekends, and many drivers take advantage of this button to scam unsuspecting tourists during the day. If you drop a cat from the top of the Burj Khalifa, could it land on its feet? Look, when you drop them from a normal height, cats have a special ability that allows them to twist their bodies in midair in a fraction of a second, and thanks to this, they can land on their feet. But if you drop one from the Burj Khalifa, those reflexes won't help much. Beyond a certain height, the impact is too strong, and it really doesn't matter how the cat lands. How to make time go faster at school. What you're not going to do is look at the clock every 5 seconds. The mental trick I used in high school was to break the classes into 15-minute sections. If I had a boring class, I'd tell myself, survive 15 minutes 4 times and the class will be over. Why do bus seats have such strange designs? Sitting on public transport seats might seem harmless, but these colorful patterns are actually meant to hide built-up dirt. That way, the seats look cleaner and they can spend less money on cleaning them. If you have to cross a frozen river, drop to the ground and crawl like a worm. If you run across, the ice will break, and you could die from hypothermia. If you've been kidnapped by a group of terrorists, don't play dead. Terrorists always check the bodies and they will kill you. If you plan to put on dirty clothes but they don't smell bad, don't do it. Your nose has gotten used to the bad smell and it can't detect the stench, but you're still gross. Even if you're dying of thirst, never drink your own urine. If bacteria enter your stomach, you could die from poisoning. Instead, find a cactus and drink carefully. If you get sent money from a stranger and they say it was a mistake, don't send it back. It's a trick scammers use to launder dirty money. If you shoot a bullet at a suit of ancient armor, most people think it could completely stop the impact. But armor, similar to chainmail, was designed to block major sword slash, and steel armor was even better at slowing down blunt hits by distributing the force of the impact over a large area, reducing the blow. But these materials were not very good at stopping arrows, which had more than enough force to break through the armor, so a bullet would have no problem going straight through it.
If you see red mushrooms in the woods, analyze if they look like umbrellas. Even if Super Mario eats and grows bigger, you'll get killed by the poison and die. If someone tries to choke you using a plastic bag, do not breathe and expel all the air at once to inflate the bag. If you bite it, it will pop like a balloon and you can breathe. If you are starving to death, look for trees with soft and moist leaves. If you suck them, you'll gain energy, but they won't kill you. If you've been kidnapped, pee on yourself all the time. The kidnappers will get tired of the bad smell and they'll set you free.
If you've been kidnapped and the criminals want to use your credit card, tell them the card has no money but that you have a better card at home. If they take you to your house, you will have a chance to escape. If you're at the beach and want to swim in the sea, put your things in a bag and bury it in the sand. Thieves won't be able to find your belongings and won't rob you. If you take a taxi or an Uber, open Google Maps on your phone to compare the route. The driver will take a longer route to charge you more money. If you're trapped in an elevator, mark the wall every time you sleep. If the rescue takes a long time, the marks will tell you how many days you've been there.